Today I'm going to paint this landscape with dramatic sky and with my new color from Rosa brand, which is Indanthrene Grey, to play with this color in the water and also in the mountains to create this very nice, amazing granulation effects. This one reminds me a bit Norway, but actually it's not. And this reminds me the lake, but on the initial photo it's not the lake, it's the sea with crashing waves, so you will see that in my next tutorial. Stay tuned. I'm going to use the following brushes today: a big one for watering the paper and also two additional to paint. They are both synthetic brushes because I'm going to use very thick pigment on absolutely wet paper. And what I love to do today, I'm going to use these two colors, olive green and Indanthrene Grey. They're both from Rosa brand gallery, and the Indanthrene Grey is rather special because it's granulation pigment, and I would like to use it for this kind of a mountain. And yeah, it's interesting to see what I get, and my plan is the combination of these two while painting the rock or the mountain here. I'm going to wet my paper from backside with clean water. And from front, I'm going to wet first only the sky, but I want that it sticks to the board, that's why I'm watering also here. But I'm starting with the sky, that's why it's important that the sky is wet. The house which is here should be dry because I really don't know what color I will use for it, that's why I'm just skipping it with watering. When everything is wet, I have to remove all unnecessary water around. And I will start with painting. We finished with the brush. I think that I'm going to use one more additional brush, which is calligraphic brush, because it's a bit bigger than my synthetic, so it may get quicker with that one, but we'll see. This is ultramarine, just some idea of the clouds. This is a bit of water so that it bleeds to create this very rough, nice edge. For the clouds, I'm going to use, for the shadow part of the clouds, I'm going to use ultramarine and a bit of red to get some kind of a purplish hue. It's cadmium red. But leaving this white edge. Some mixture is more bluish, some mixture is more pinkish. Just using two colors, red and ultramarine. When I mix it more thicker, I'm getting more intensive color, and on some places adding more intensive color, but not everywhere. A bit turning the brush, and also with this color I'm going to use very shadow place. Not enough, mixing again. And again making it darker. So in some places I will make it a bit even more darker. It's not an easy thing to paint the sky, but my plan is also to record a tutorial with different types of the sky, how to paint it. That's why I'm not very detailed now, because I know that we need really hours how to learn how to paint the sky. Bit more smooth here. It's clean dry brush, so no water, nothing there. With sky you can work really long to create the effects you like. My sky is still wet, but what I like to do now to start with the down part, and for that I'm going to wet the rock, the mountain, but I leave 1 or 2 millimeters distance from what I already done, so that the sky didn't bleed there. So when I water, I'm really accurate so that the water doesn't ruin the sky. Another option is also to put something under your board so that it doesn't bleed there, which happened there actually. So my rock is wet. Now I'm going also to wet the water. Here also not touching, 2 millimeters distance. And I'm starting with olive green. So you see this millimeter. And then I'm adding also the Indanthrene Grey. So you see I'm coming a bit closer to the sky, but really not touching. So still remembering about that millimeter. And also I'm adding this very thick Indanthrene Grey here, very thick. I will show you how granulation works. But to show, you need really very thick paint on your wet paper. With a thin brush, like this, Schlepper brush, I'm adding water and holding the board to the edge, right to this corner, so that this bleeds a bit there. Adding more granulation so that it should bleed. This will add some kind of a dynamic. At the same time, I'm making liquid olive green and I'm adding it here. And now holding vertically so that it bleeds inside of this granulation pigment. So holding like this. Some water bleeded here. So you see what happens? It really like removes the pigment and creates very interesting, yeah, rivers. Just adding some color here, so the same Indanthrene. I see how it bleeds into the water, it's okay. Some dots. More water to create rivers and holding. and liquid olive green again. So playing with it, how granulation works, and shows really different, very nice accents. I'm covering now this white because I know that my sky is, yeah, almost allows me to do that. Let's work with water. I'm also starting with granulated color with horizontal lines. And now I'm adding the color which is in the sky, which is red and ultramarine. When I come closer to the horizon, I'm using more dry brush effects with very thick pigment but no water. And the same when I come closer here to show a bit of, yeah, waves or something. So to show the edge of the mountain, I'm using the same color Indanthrene Grey, but just pressing with this kind of a brush, because in this way we see it more and more, but not as a line, but more as from time to time. Some places I'm making them together because I don't want it to really like cut. A bit of lavender. I love lavender color. And a bit playing with the illusion of creating stones. Some thin lines. some lavender or royal blue. But very thick, no water because it's wet, still wet. And you see this very nice effect, how like the paint collaborate with each other. Some lavender splashes. When on some places they're too big, I will just make them not that visible. And the house, I will make very dark brownish. Left side, because the sun comes from the right. Dry brush effect for the roof, leaving white paper to show that there is the light on the roof, and under the roof rather light brown to show the light. Only the thin line under the roof, and some kind of a wall which was also there. I would like to use white for some splashes. It can be watercolor or gouache. I have gouache, but it doesn't really matter because it's really small, tiny dots. And slipper brush. A bit of water because it's rather thick. When it is thick and you have such kind of a brush, you get very nice lines, but you hold also the brush like this, not like this. So then they follow the direction of your waves. Oops, that's too much. If it's too thick, I'm adding a bit of water. That's what happened to the brush. Yeah, so I will leave it. So it's not the thing to make it really perfect, but you will be surprised when I will record another video from the photo that you don't see currently. You'll be really surprised that from one photo you can make absolutely different paintings with different atmosphere, and even they look like different countries. Because this now reminds me, I don't know, Norway,